in my bed, cradling my 9-month pregnant belly. I glared at my husband. He was fast asleep. He looked very comfortable. I envied him. I loved the man, but at that moment I hated him. I was so uncomfortable. My feet were swollen, my back hurt, and there was no position I could get in that was comfortable. The baby needed to be born soon. Don't get me wrong, the discomfort was well worth it. We had been waiting for this baby for a long time. Not just 9 months, but 5 years. We had waited 5 years to decide if we had wanted to have this little girl. At one point, I finally drifted off into a restless sleep, only to be woken up by little fingers poking at my belly. I was startled to see my 4-year-old Charlie looking up at me and smiling. "Are you saying hi to baby's sister?" I whispered. My husband stirred slightly. "Who are you talking to?" he asked. "Go back to sleep, it's just Charlie," I said. He murmured and was right back to sleep instantly. I asked Charlie to hop off the bed and told him that I was going to put him back in his room. He looked at me with a very sad, pathetic look. "No, Mama," he said. "I want to play." I shook my head and told him it was far too late at night to play. He whimpered. I was exhausted. "Okay, tell you what. Let's go get you a drink of water and we'll sit on the couch for a few minutes together, okay?" Charlie seemed happy with that idea. I set his water down on the coffee table, and we both sat on the couch. He laid his little head against my belly and kissed it. I stroked my fingers through his curly blonde hair. Such a mass of curls. I asked him if he was excited about his little sister coming soon, and he said yes. Then he very matter-of-factly looked up into my eyes and said with the most serious tone of voice that I had to laugh. He said, "My sister is going to have curly red hair." I said that I very much doubted that, considering my husband, myself, and Charlie, well, my husband and I had dark, dirty blondish hair, and Charlie was his curly blonde hair was starting to turn into an ashy blonde. I said it didn't seem very likely, but Charlie insisted that she would have red curly hair. Kids are so funny like that. I don't remember when it happened, but I must have set Charlie back in his bed and then fallen asleep myself, because the next thing I knew, I was in my own bed again, next to my husband. I sat up with a start. My heart was beating fast, like when you've had like an intense dream that you don't quite remember, but your heart is beating so fast and you're afraid to move, and it kind of feels like you're having a panic attack. I stepped out of my room and walked down the hall towards Charlie's. I opened the door to peek in and make sure that he was asleep. I took a deep breath as I looked around the room. Suddenly, I was overcome with emotion and slowly walked back to my bedroom. I sat down on the bed and wiped away tears. My husband sat up and looked at me. "Are you okay?" I don't really know, I answered, wiping the sleep from his eyes. He looked at me and said, I could have sworn that you said you were talking. Yeah, I nodded. I did say that. We both looked at each other. I could tell my husband felt the same pain that I did. We both know that what I said couldn't be true. I couldn't have been talking to Charlie. Charlie had died 5 years ago. I can't even talk about the details of his death. It's too painful. It had taken us almost 5 years to decide if we wanted another child or not. And then fate stepped in, and I found out after a bout of sickness that I was pregnant. We were both terrified at first. We didn't know if we could handle a pregnancy or the thought of another child. But we'd come through it, and we were excited and happy. A few moments earlier, when I'd walked into Charlie's room, I was instantly hit with the fact that it was no longer his room. All of his stuff had been given away years ago. It was too painful to keep, and we didn't know if we'd have another child or another boy. We just got rid of it. The room was now filled with a crib instead of a boy's toddler bed. The walls were painted pink instead of blue with dinosaur stickers. This was his sister's room. If my husband hadn't confirmed without prompting that I'd been awake and spoken to him, I'd assume that I'd been dreaming. When my daughter was born, a few weeks later, she was born with a full head of red hair. I truly believe that Charlie came to check on my pregnancy and say hi to the little sister that was in my belly.